I expect to see Kazante more than likely banned away. Don't even want to deal with that as we get into the draft. It is going to be Macau China on the blue side, Hong Kong China on red with the Illusion ban levied towards MM in the bot lane. Bit surprised by that one. I would have really thought that the priority would have been on something like that Zyra Khan.
Yeah, the Lucian ban I feel like is something that's living a little bit rent-free in Macau China's head at the moment, given what happened last time they let it through. So their lesson was learned. I don't think we'll be seeing that one again anytime soon. But look, to be fair, it is a very viable ban if your bot lane is trying to be more passive in how they play, right? Go for the Jinx, just scale up. So they're going to target the bottom lane quite heavily, actually. In fact, 2 ADC bans.
Do we make it 3 for 3? Do you think that's going to be the case? We get a 3 for 3 here.
Well, what would it be
Macau, China?
if it's going to be a third AD carry? Xayah?
Xayah would be the one. No, Nico.
Has to be Nico.
I'm really hoping Nico sneaks through one day. I want to be able to cast that because I keep seeing other people where it's somehow let through. They get to cast that one, and I just want to see the power myself.
You want to experience the cheese.
Yes, I do.
Experience someone being a plant that you're just not prepared for. Big thing here, however, is that the Vi is actually let through for, I think, the first time almost in this entire tournament. Vi going to be up and available. All those AD carries banned. I like what Hong Kong China did in response, though.
Grabbing Yuumi, Aphelios, uninteractive bot lane. Really safe. Not going to have to worry about that for MM Kaiwin. Gives them a lot of time to scale up into the game. But this is where we continue to see this Tristana priority. Really shocking us here in Road to Asian Games. Something that we haven't seen from many other regions when we look at competitive. And even having NH... Wait, no. Hold on.
Yeah, right.
Hold on.
That's a Lee Sin.
That's a Lee Sin.
Is that a solo Lee Sin?
That is a solo Lee Sin.
Because the Vi is less likely to be in a solo lane.
That is a top lane Lee Sin.
Yeah, but it's blind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Oh, no. I know.
Support?
It's support. You go for the kill lane.
No way.
Yeah, come on.
No way.
I said bring out the cheese, butter them up.
That's some holy cheese, though.
Some Swiss we're bringing out here.
That's what I like. Some holy cheese. Blitzcrank also going to be banned away here, though, so...
Maybe they're not expecting that cheese like we're talking about.
I don't think anyone is expecting that cheese until it is locked.
I want it.
I do like the Blitzcrank ban.
Sea Lion, please, do me the pleasure of casting a support Lee Sin.
Milio taken away as well. This is one of those drafts where, depending on if a mid laner is picked for Hong Kong China, you could almost look at slamming an Alistar in your composition, and like that kind of brings it all together really nicely.
It really does.
But you're obviously terrified of Silas at all times, so you're hoping that something's revealed here from MM.
Especially with the anti-ban too.
Yeah.
That is going to be the big question. Do you lock in the mid laner here for Med? That way the Silas is less likely, even though it can go to the top lane. The Zir locked in here for Med. And on the other side, are they going to flex that Tristana into the bot lane like we've seen before? A Kali locked in, so that is going to be a... Okay, we're still on the question mark. That is a bot lane Tristana.
Literally, if your support is not like a lead... Okay.
Oh, it's a support lead Sin! Let's go!
Where is...
It
has to be, right?
It's a Tristana Lee Sin bot lane. Maybe, or is it a Vi support? It could be Vi support.
I don't know. And I'm very confused. Top lane Lee Sin is what makes the most sense.
But then Kennen support?
But it can't be a Kennen support, so it has to be Kennen top lane. Yeah.
Let's go. Kill lane bot lane.
That is a crazy lane. It's into a Yuumi as well. So
you kill them. Level 1,
them.
You hit Sonic Wave, you go in. It is.
Can we just quickly highlight that a Galio was picked last year as well from... That means Azir's top.
Who cares?
That means Azir's top.
Who cares? It's a Lee Sin support.
The Kennen versus Zir top lane matchup. There's a whole lot in this game to digest, Magical. It is not just the one cheese pick. We've got a whole lot of different things to explore.
This is what I've been asking for. I look at these teams, I'm like, what do you bring to the table? Are you capable of playing those meta picks? If you don't feel comfortable into it, play your own style. Break the mold. Do your own thing. Azir top lane in it to Kennen top lane with a support Lee Sin.
Yeah, they're certainly having their fun with it now, right? They've got their pocket picks, perhaps things that they're very good at. Sea Lion, for all we know, might be a jungler on his secondary when he locks in solo queue games, right? Support jungle could be his 2 champions. He could be a practice Lee Sin support.
I was going to say that, or just the solo queue special, where you've been practicing a bunch of Lee Sin support, and you're like, hey, you know what? this is what I've been playing in my retirement. I've been having fun with this. Can we just try it?
So, a couple of things, right? Team fighting.
Yes.
For Team Macau China.
You have one game strategy.
It's kill the closest person as fast as possible.
Yes.
There's really no other way around that. You've got a Galio on the other side that can really easily deal with the magic damage that you're going to be throwing at him, but the Lee Sin is going to be a factor for physical damage. You've got a physical jungler as well in the Vi, right? So the damage is still mixed, but that Galio is going to be able to handle the Akali you would expect pretty successfully.
But what I like to dub with this kind of composition from Team Macau China is the submarine comp. Dive, 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 awooga, awooga.
They certainly have to, right? If they're going to be successful at any point in this. Early aggression potentially seen here as well.
I like
Galio in the bush.
They expect that there's going to be this early play, and they've got the face check with the taunt onto 2, getting a cleanse out of Paul early on, and an exhaust on a C-line, forcing out a flash immediately.
Flash used, summoner spells burned as well across the board. Missing from Tristana also, but 2 combat summoners used by MM, and Kaiwing also, the exhaust going to be taken away. The big thing there is it's a W start on this Lee Sin now, right? So it doesn't have a Q, doesn't really have damage or harass or poke that can be put in the lane, but Yumi's not going to do any damage because it's always going to be a safeguard.
Yeah.
So there's that trade-off.
And you don't have to worry about that exhaust anymore.
Yeah.
You get level 2, you're going to be fine.
The other place as well that I didn't get a chance to highlight too much just through that draft phase is the Azir top lane. So Kennen naturally has a lot of enemies, a lot of counters in Summoner's Rift right now in the meta. Gragas, Cassante, Varus even. Varus ultimate stops Kennen from going in because the Lightning Rush is not mobility, it's just movement speed. Azir can do the same thing with the Emperor's Divide. So you have to be very careful with these teamfight executions, and even the Galio ultimate can deny half of your DPS if you're going by yourself and they get to turn onto you. So it is all about timing, it's all about setup. That good flank while the rest of your team's putting in work is an important factor.
But it still boils down to the game plan for Team Macau China. Kill the closest person. You get pushed away by Azir, kill the closest person. Doesn't matter if he's 2 screens away. You instead turn your attention on to Kenny Chan. The one person who is going to be diving and needs to be in the thick of the fight.
And there's a lot of damage. There is a lot of damage. If nothing else, you may not have crowd control, you may not have stuns. You have one person on your team that has stuns, and that is your top laner who will never be there. But you have damage, and you do have knock-ups and kickbacks.
Hey,
right?
You know the best CC?
Death.
Death, exactly. But you still got to get on top of them. Right now, Macau China are struggling. Good Toy in this top lane. It's going to be hard as Kennen, especially early into the game. Solo Kill should be able to clear out these waves efficiently against Kennen.
You're expecting the push to be in mid as well quite successfully for the Galio. Early on, the energy costs from an Akali are very high, so you don't get multiple rotations of those abilities. And at the same time, bottom, a W start Lee Sin, 0 tempo.
Oh,
but
dive, looking for the jump on top, and MM taking a lot of damage, flashing away, but they can chase this one. There's no exhaust, and they've got 2 summoners blown again on the side of Hong Kong China.
They straight up use the Ignite, they get hyper aggressive. The real hero of that situation was Kaiwing, who dismounted to tank the Sonic Wave.
Yep.
So there was no lethal damage onto MM, who just gets to walk it off. All things considered, it was a nice trade for Team Macau China, but the CS difference in bot lane is still quite noticeable. So the fact that Hong Kong China survive means they get to collect all of that bounty in the minions waiting for them.
Yeah, get at least some of that gold, try to use that control. But at the same time, I do like this look from Macau China, looking for those aggressive plays early into the game. Force out a lot of these pots, the summoner spells out of Hong Kong China. So that way, if they step up a little far, or if you want to set up your own dive, you're that much closer to that step.
A little bit of downtime, actually, in this game. You know, the skirmish in bottom lane was just in its 2v2. Mid's been kind of muted, top, like we highlighted as well. The pressure's just been kind of there. So you naturally start to gravitate towards the whereabouts of these junglers and say, how are they going to have an influence in this game? It is NH's turn to have a look in mid, perhaps.
Gotta be careful, though. Faith is taking a lot of damage. Waiting for that punch, does not connect. Instead, it's going to be the taunt out of Med. NH throws a pretty good punch back.
Med actually half health him, however, in that transaction. He's going to go back to base regardless and teleport in. So, surprising little skirmish with a nice outcome, all things considered, if you are Kenny Chan knowing that the Vi is going to be low health. for the rest of your lanes, knowing that it's very unlikely a gank happens, and they're just taking turns jumping in.
Constantly looking for that pressure, was able to get the resets. Oh, does take a route though.
That's insane bot lane watching this, man.
It is so weird. I love this.
The sea lion goes in, he goes out. A hole goes in this time, and he's gone. Getty's hovering the bottom lane.
He's expecting them to do the same thing that they've been doing.
Yeah, at a certain point, does it become predictable is the question.
Well, they have one game plan. I will say this a million times. Their game plan is to fight.
They have fought their way to 20 CS down as a wave will crash, which is a shame. 10 CS up in mid lane, however, so Faith putting in that work as best he can. Compliments of a nice little gank from NH. Has a big wave that is built, however, so that CS difference will be shrunk a little bit if Med is able to catch that. Level 6 is probably going to be the point where these teams start to feel a bit more opportunity. Bot lane going to be the slowest to hit that level 6, of course, but Akali can find kills, but a Galio can counter gank with that ultimate.
So Faith is doing a good job of getting a lot of pressure back on Med. Try to deny that Galio from even wanting to look for those heroic entrances.
I mean, so far pressuring him very nicely, right? Making sure that every CS gets punished very well. I feel like as well, though, if I was Hong Kong, China, I might even consider looking at top lane. Seeing if you can, within the next minute and a half, this wave might crash and bounce would be your goal. And then at an Azir ultimate, locking a cannon under a turret with a Wukong that's level 6 is probably going to be just free real estate for potential kills. So it's definitely a place that I would love to look towards a few of them, especially getting money into solo kills pockets on this tip.
Get the Azir ahead. Make sure that he can continue to push back every single wave. That way Kennen can actually look to rotate. And now that he's TP'd into the top lane, don't have to worry about that if you're Hong Kong, China. You know that Kennen is no longer going to be a factor. But Kenny Chan and NH trading blow for blow, back and forth. No one really being the benefactor.
The Trish jump going to be used just to collect the wave in bottom lane. So when all is said and done, a turret plate goes the way of MM and Kaiwing. They are very happy with their wave state. They didn't die to the jumps in. They've got those incremental CS advantages on every single wave. Every single time the Tristan or the Lee Sin have dived forwards, they've still been able to collect those last hits.
Still waiting. Come on. Oh, Sea Lion. Keep fighting. I believe in you.
I think you can believe in the fact that they will keep fighting. If nothing else, you can believe in that. Be rude not to, given the champions that they're playing. But they've been kind of measured out, you know?
It's hard. It's so hard to NFL Yumi lane too. This is what this lane is built for. Playing passively, farming up for a while to get those first item spikes, then use the red-white let's fight.
The WMAX Azir as well in top lane, 4 points in that now, as you would expect from all Azirs presently. WMAX seems to be the way to go. Gone for the area as well, which I'm a big fan of, especially in top lane. Consistent poke that you can get out in long lanes as well.
It's nice, and even though top lane is working out for solo kill, because bot lane has that constant kill threat on MM and Kaiwing, it does allow Team Macau China to actually take the first dragon of the game, and even send Sea Lion into the mid lane. Look for a potential play on Med, but you got to be careful. Ken Chen on the wings, waiting to re-engage the fight. Sea Lion might understand that Kenny Chen doesn't have his ult, but neither do you. You had to flash away. Now Kenny Chen getting a lot of damage back with the heroic entrance, layering up the CC onto NH for first blood.
A very simple first blood, it feels like, as well. NH falls on the sword that Sea Lion placed for him. Overexerts himself, goes a bit too far, and then gets the reinforcements from this Vi, who does go down. Cannon ult.
Oh, nice body block of the Justice Punch as well. So they will answer back mid.
Good little trade back, to be perfectly honest. Zoe makes it work, finds his way from top all the way to mid. And a successful little flash ultimate slices through Med. Bot lane, of course, starting to reap the benefits of what happens with this roam, all things considered. A long time away from lane. Solo kill as well, going to be able to push this one back in as Kennen comes back from base. And so I feel like, you know, we can complement that kill in mid, the trade kill, but the mistake has a knock-on effect. And you can see that now reflected through a lot of the CS values, and that'll start to become gold values. And the total team gold is now noticeable as well, more than 1k difference. But again, the big thing here is that there's no reason for Sea Lion to walk up to this bush. There's simply no reason, just goes so far. Vi comes in, Galio ultimate's going to come through, and solo kill there. Very easy pickup.
Yeah, pretty much just layering the CC so that NH couldn't escape. But Med does try to crash this wave back, not realizing that Toei had already rotated into the mid lane. So they're able to get that capitalization so to at least get something back. But as you were highlighting before, because both top and bot have lost members, it allowed freedom of Hong Kong China to take all these plates, and they're escalated, out of control, already getting some of these big spikes for their carries.
Really tough to gank mid right now, especially if Akali has the Shroud. They don't have enough committal crowd control to stop her from placing that. So you'd have to actually burn the cooldown, and that's where I think Med was trying to play or position hyper aggressively, see if he can force out a Shroud. Ooh. Just as a cooldown, but if that doesn't work, they get priority in mid either way, and they come bottom.
That's a big minion wave already crashing down towards the turret. Sea Lion looking for the kickback, but NH not in the position. Flash forward from Kenny Chan onto Ho. Ho taking a lot of damage. Could be the first casualty. It's going to be Yuumi taking the kill as NH had to use the cease and desist to try to disengage. But Faith might be here, and put your faith in Faith, or can you? Because he dies. No, he takes one with them. Getting knocked up even in the Twilight Shroud, but he's rooted by MM. No place to go but into the fight. Into Yuumi and Aphelios with red, white, let's fight. No way, Jose.
And Faith will survive, not with a lot of health to his name and not with enough HP to defend this bottom lane out of turret as it gets pushed down. And those red-white weapons very fast at taking structures if they wanted to, but they will take the free reset instead. A 50 CS advantage, 11 minutes in, and on the clock in farm. It is a monstrous Aphelios that MM is going to be for the rest of this game. And we'll see this replay one more time. I'll be the first to admit it. Sea Lion mechanically not bad. Right, does his job, hits the ward hop, hits the kick, knocks them up. But is there any safe space in this position, right? What's the Tristana going to do now that you've used your stuff to get out effectively? And so Sea Lion will survive. He's going to go back into the play, however. NH also barely scraping away with his life intact. And Faith does get it done.
Yeah, Faith getting the kill. Again, trading back for this Akali is your fallback tool. At least you'll have this assassin that is going to be very scary for MM. But MM comes back to the lane, already has that Gale Force completed, and that is a huge spike for this bot lane.
The comparison of items right now between these AD carries is large, to say the least. It is a completed item at 12 minutes. And to no one's surprise, Kenny Chan, of course, on this Wukong will be straight back towards the place where he has an absolute point of strength and knows full well that just by being here in this 2v2, how far ahead they are, the attention of multiple members gets drawn down here, so you may as well be first to the punch. You know, place some vision, make sure there's no counter ganks every single time that they're pushed.
And for MM, you gotta feel really good after that beating from the previous games against Team China. Bowling around your opponents in the bot lane with your own 60 CS lead that you have before the plates have even fallen is gonna feel real good.
Giving them a taste of your own medicine. Certainly is going to feel nice, and so far very good from the bot lane of Hong Kong China. Quietly achieving as well in top lane is solo kill, having that Luden's Echo done also. I would not be mad to see an Azir in the fight right now. They're fighting.
Sea Lion did a lot of damage there for Kenny Chan. Pass dash back to Ho, and here comes Moonlight Vigil with a Gale Force and not enough damage onto Sea Lion.
He was going for the crit.
He was.
He thought about it. I think once the ult hit, he said, can I get lethal here? And he was close. If that was a crit, it would have been.
But unfortunate, no crit that time. Not the 1% crit runes that used to be in the past.
And also, Echoes of Helia is done for Kai Wing. So while there was a lot of damage that went on to Kenny Chan at the forefront of that skirmish, I had the sustain there, had the Yuumi ultimate there, and they're able to keep him in relatively tip-top shape as they now push towards the entirety of this bot lane turret.
Should be able to take that, not on this wave, but relatively soon. Wouldn't be surprised if in 2 waves that turret's gone.
Especially with the rest of the team looking in mid lane right now. NH with the Herald about to expire as far as I could tell is going to summon that one in mid just to get the charge off.
But with no plates, they have fallen. No extra gold you're going to get for the play. And Kenny Chan saying, hey, that bot lane, it's nearly gone. Where's your escape route this time? Buster shot onto Kenny Chan as he follows up to flash in. And Graviton picks up that crit this time around. And Ho does not have an escape tool.
Oh my god, is purple activation?
No.
Didn't have the cooldown. So close.
No,
Definitely could have been a second kill.
We were both looking for that.
Yeah, well, it zoomed in on him, man. We're like, it's got to be. It's got to be up soon, but it just quite was not. However, that tower falls, and the confirmation is simply there, right? That was Macau China overstaying by 1 wave. and being punished for staying by one wave just a little bit too long.
And this gives over a dragon now to Hong Kong, China. We can take a look at this replay. With no escape tools, no real way out of there, and so much damage from MM, it's impossible really to even defend that tower.
And let's just also quickly highlight that that took place with no ultimates on all 3 members of Hong Kong China, and they still almost got 2 kills outright.
Yup.
That's how dangerous they are now starting to become. Top lane turret just fell as well as you saw, and Magical this game is starting to really run away from Macau China.
Macau China, their whole game plan was the dive, dive, dive. We fight early, we fight aggressively, and never did it come to fruition. As Team Hong Kong China have made sure to mitigate that at every single stage. That's what their composition was drafted for, was more stopping the all-in. Even right here, looking for this dive onto MM underneath the turret. Guess who's here? Med saves the day with a heroic entrance, getting the kill on an NA, and a flash in solo kill. He showed up too to make sure they pick up 2 kills.
Macau China tries to make something happen, and the second they try, the counter punch is just a little bit too strong. Like you were highlighting, the counter is there. Med comes in, no hesitation. Galio ult comes down, and quite simply, 1 turret became 2, which becomes 3, which becomes a 6,000 gold lead with that, which becomes big item spikes in the next couple of minutes. And if you are Macau China, you're reeling with the lack of opportunity that now exists.
And look at that, Sea Lion steps up, misses Sonic Wave, takes half his health forward.
He's building Collector though from the looks of it, unless that's a Ghost Blade or something of the like. Maybe Dusk Blade? I forget the build path now with the lethality items. But I like that he's gone lethality, that's what matters.
Me too.
You watch this in mid lane, dashes back, has the movement speed from Ayumi, the sustain from Ayumi as well, and you wouldn't think that they were diving you with how much health and shielding just suddenly appears on MM, who somehow gained health from enemies hitting him.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you helped me. You buffed me up this whole time. Cool.
Nice dodge.
Stepping, but Sea Lion really wants this.
Faith on the flank as well might be what they're considering, but not
They're
a flank
looking for
anymore.
any play. And there it is. NH with the cease and desist on MM, but nobody can follow that up. And guess who's here again? Ned saves the day, even with slicing Maelstrom. Hong Kong China dashing away, but they're falling. They're losing the health. The assassins working out for Macau China.
And what was the difference in that trade, right? A huge ultimate from Zoe is a massive factor for the outcome of that one. Meanwhile, suffice to say, doing a lot of work elsewhere is going to be this assist, split pushing to his heart's content.
And that's also a big factor, even though Kenny Chen diving in there, picking up the kill, as Yui attached as well. Can you replicate that 2v3? Stunned up, no.
Get him, Kai.
With a cat, auto attack. Oh my god,
he
right
wins
attack
these.
that. Can you actually win this? Prowling projectile does not hit Tui. But unfortunate there for Team Macau China. Trying to recall there. Losing out, not even gaining the kill on a Kaiwing either.
Yeah, I think he unironically wins that 1v1 as well at the double buff there, so it would have been an issue. Solo kill going to get over with the blast cone. Protobelt not going to deny that Banshee's Veil by any means. You watch this one more time. The difference is quite literally a top laner, right? Zoe is here. He's going to get into the fight. He's going to hit a big slicing Maelstrom. Protobelt onto absolutely everybody. There was a Lee Sin kick in there as well. It must be said that was quite nice. And they do get themselves a fantastic team fight. Shut down onto the Aphelios, right? A big deal.
But as you highlighted, solo kill wasn't there. That was a 4v5 fight, and still you barely are managing advantages in Macau China.
Well, that was a 2 for 2, wasn't it? Right?
2 for
so
2.
Was that an advantage?
And then you end up losing after the 2v3.
Yeah, and then you get pushed back while bot lane was being pushed. And I didn't get to see it, but it is... The whole bot lane is gone. They're fighting again.
We see this as we see a killing spree for solo kill. NH running away, but kited down. Solo kill saying, all right, I'm taking these free kills that MM is serving to me on a silver platter.
And that's it, right? Solo kill didn't just take the inner turret in bot lane, by the way. He took the inhibitor turret as well.
Yeah.
Like, he took absolutely everything from Macau China, and now this game. We said it was starting to happen when those outer turrets went, but they started to build themselves those gold advantages. Those leads were incremental, but they were starting to be meaningful. And then Macau China threw the kitchen sink at them and said, we have to fight. Their fight or flight response was go all in. And now this game explodes.
One game plan. It is fight. That is all you have as Macau China here. they have faith on the flank, but Kenny Chan actually going to be the first one to pull the trigger. Doing is burst down before anybody could even show up, and look at Eminem free-firing, flashing forward as well, undeterred, unstoppable. Hong Kong, China in the base of Macau, China. Faith realizing this game is forfeit, but MM saying, no, you get back here, you fight me now.
And you would have pressed S, I could do that just as much. Game goes the way of Hong Kong, China for sure. Unless Hull pulls out an absolute miracle.
No, that is not happening.
And you'd have to be walking on water for that to happen, I think. There's no chance.
As that is going to be the game. Hong Kong, China pulled out from underneath the fountain, making sure they pick up the kill, even if Solo Kill died for it. They wanted to get that delayed pen.